is Jay Chodagam. I'm a meditation teacher based in the San Francisco Bay Area. I've been a practitioner for over 20 years. I was a monk with the Raja Yoga Order for 18 years, and my background is in petroleum engineering and computer science. I have 2 engineering degrees. Worked in Silicon Valley, lived as a monk, and so I try to meld these 2 parts of my brain, the left hemisphere, which is the engineering mind, and my right hemisphere, which is the deeply curious mind. So I call it ancient wisdom melded with modern neuroscience, and that's what I offer, that's what I practice, and that's what I have been sharing for the last 108 episodes. And for those of you who are brand new to this channel, I invite you to please go and join my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/jchodagam. And I also have a circle on this app. It's called Meditate with Jay. So go ahead and join those 2 forums, because there's a plenty of nice engaging activity. There's like a community of people who are constantly discussing, and they're deepening the inquiry. They are suggesting topics. You can go ahead and drop in any suggestions for future sessions that you want me to talk about. And I'm happy to take that up. And know that this is my full-time thing. I used to have a corporate career back in the day. But 9 years ago, I decided to hang my coat, so to speak, because I felt a deep calling that there was something more meaningful, more important for me to do than create and sell software. So I thought it's going to be a sabbatical. And here we are 9 years later. There's no looking back. I mean, people who I grew up with will tell you this is what I've been born to do. This is my passion. And this is where I try to use my creative energy to manifest in a way that will help mankind to come together and to wake up and to heal in any little way. And that gives me a lot of fulfillment. So I call it my journey of fulfillment over achievement. Well, welcome to the channel. So now I'm going to talk about the flow for today. Especially if you're new and you're not familiar with the 109 episodes we've done so far, I typically break my sessions down into 2 parts. The first part of it will be breathwork. So I'm going to lead you through pranayama exercises, ancient Indian wisdom of deep breathwork that will prepare your mind to go into a deep state of meditation. Okay, so the second half will be the guided meditation. And today, the guided meditation is going to be very interesting. It's going to be a lot of inquiry. I'm going to be posing scenarios. I'm going to be walking you through the different forms of loneliness. And today, I hope you all know, we're here to discuss about how do we remedy ourselves from the pandemic of loneliness. There is the other pandemic. There's the virus that's going around. But the virus of the pandemic of loneliness is something that is deeply internal. There is the physical aspects. We all know how to protect ourselves. We wear masks. We've got vaccines. We've isolated ourselves. We social distancing, this, that, and the other. But what do we do with the mental repercussions of this loneliness pandemic? Right? The depression, the anxiety, the feeling of hopelessness that has seemed to have struck the world over. People are reeling from it. And so we're going to do a lot of inquiry around that. I'm going to walk you through some scenarios, and we're going to work towards some solutions. Okay, it's a very personal thing. I don't expect a one-size-fits-all, but I'm kind of going to point you in directions where you might be able to, first of all, name what you're feeling, and second, heal whatever that you need to resolve. All right, so that's the flow. With that said, yes, thank you for saying that the sound system is awesome. We have invested, collectively. Your donations have helped to make this possible. So we have, I started off with nothing. I used to talk to a computer back in March of 2020 last year. And, it was kind of depressing, honestly. I'll just tell you very frankly, I'm a person who used to do retreats around the world. Some of you attended my retreats in Japan, Italy, South America, Yellowstone National Park. And suddenly the pandemic hit, and all my travel plans, a completely sold out retreat to Japan was canceled, right? And we couldn't go anywhere. We were sitting at home. And then some of you reached out to me and asked and said, Jay, we have unprecedented amount of anxiety. We just stuck at home with family. We didn't expect even these people that we're married to and we give birth to, we didn't think that we're going to be looking at them 24/7, serving them 3 meals a day and so on. Can't step out of the house. Can you help us? And so we started this in a very simple, humble way. There was, 10, 20 people who used to join back in the day. And slowly, with consistency, I used to do this daily back in March, and then I think we thought, remember, we thought the pandemic is going to come to an end in April. We said, okay, we're going to hold our breath for 1 month. Here we are, 18 months later. There's still no sign of this thing coming to an end. So the rhythm today is twice a week. And then the third thing is so Wednesday evening, Sunday morning, and then the beautiful Sacred Circle, which is a cohort of really deep spirits who want to grow deeper, want to build a deep sense of community. We get together on Saturdays. So that's thrice a week. And a lot of my sessions are recorded. And again, once again, if you're just joining, it's on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/jchodagam. Now, let's go ahead and shift our energies into the practice. I want you to go ahead and downshift your gaze or close your eyes as you feel comfortable. I want you to keep your back straight if you're sitting up. And if you're lying down, you're welcome to do that. Arms rested on your lap, palms facing upwards, hands in Vayu Mudra. So the tips of your index finger touching the thumb and facing upwards, making sure that the joints are not locked, allowing the chi or the prana to flow freely. We don't want to lock joints. It'll be a blockage. I want you to breathe in nice and deep through the nostrils, inhaling using your abdomen. You should notice the opening of your abdomen. And I want you to exhale from the mouth. Can we do this for a count of inhale of 5 through the nostril? Exhale from the mouth for a count of 5. Notice the sound of the ocean as I'm exhaling. You can do that too. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Making sure that your belly is what is rising and collapsing, not your chest. Exhale. Inhale through the nostrils. Exhale slightly longer through the mouth. Inhale still for a count of 5. And exhale for a count of 8. This time, inhale for 5. And exhale for 8. And as we switch it up, the next exercise is called Brahmari. The exhalation is going to happen with the mouth closed and the sound of a hum that starts in the bottom of your throat. It's going to look like this. Just go back into your 5 and 5 out while you're watching this. You see that? So the sound of the buzzing bee. It's called Brahmari. Okay. Now, for the hand, I want you to do something called Yoni Mudra. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that to you. The 3 fingers, my middle, ring, and pinky are together, nail to nail. My index are touching the tips of the fingers, and my thumbs are touching the tips of each other. Okay, you get that? So we're going to go ahead and lay that down, put it on our laps, or if you're lying down, just lay it on your abdomen. Inhale for 5. Exhale with a hum. Second round. third and final round of Brahmari. Allowing your rhythm to go back into the 5 in and 5 out. In through the nostrils, out through the mouth. This last exercise is a tremendous benefit to the organs inside the head. It's a way of an internal massage to all of your tissues, your muscles, and your organs inside your head space, including clearing out the sinuses. In this next exercise, we're going to do something called 5 in, 1 out. In this, you're going to take in 5 inhalations. So as you inhale, I want you to see the opening of the different layers of your thoracic and abdominal cavities. So it's going to look like this. Okay, so I want you to make sure that your abdomen is expanding. Your upper abdomen, which is the lower, just below the rib cage, that's expanding. Your chest, lower chest, upper chest, and the complete system here below your neck is expanded. Okay, so that's 5 in and 1 out. We're going to do 3 rounds of that. Let's do that together. Go ahead and again go back to the Vayu Mudra. Fingers of the tips of the thumb are touching the tips of the index finger, arms rested, making sure the joints are not locked. Rested on your lap, or if you're lying down next to you, palms facing upwards. Together, 3 rounds of 5 in and 1 out. Second round. Third round. Back to the 5 in and 5 out. In through the nostrils, out through the mouth. And with this next exhale at the bottom of the lungs, I want you to hold. Hold till I tell you. I'll do the counting, you just do the holding. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. This time at the top of the lungs, I want you to hold. Hold till I tell you. I'll do the counting, you just do the holding. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale. Let it go. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, and at the bottom of the lungs, I want you to hold again. Hold as long as I tell you to hold. And if you cannot, that's okay. Go back to the 5 in and 5 out. But if you can, I tell you there's tremendous benefit in this exercise called the bandha. Hold. Hold with your empty lungs. Now squeeze the muscles in your buttocks. Squeeze the muscles as you're holding the air in your thighs, quadriceps, hamstrings, calf muscles, Squeeze the muscles in your abdomen. See if you can squeeze the muscles in your chest, in your back muscles, shoulders, shrug if you need to, forearms, make a fist, upper arms, biceps and triceps, neck, make a frown on your face, muscles on your face. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, inhale. Well done, well done. This is a tremendously powerful exercise, the bandha, which is it's increasing your level of oxygenation in your bloodstream. Believe it or not, you will wonder how can the holding do the increase of the oxygen in the bloodstream. It actually does. There's a lot of science behind it. And the proof of it is notice how you feel. Notice how you may be feeling much more centered right now. The quality of your breathing is nice and deep. It's very regular. And the activities of the mind have slowed down to a trickle. And you feel very grounded inside your body. Such is the power of pranayama. So we're going to do one more exercise before we end this sequence of pranayama. And this is called Kapalbhati. You might be familiar if you've attended my previous sessions. It's a javelin breath. It's the English translation loosely. Eyes closed, and this is what it's going to look like. The focus is going to be the exhale. And your exhalation is going to come out as a sharp burst through the nostrils. So the mouth is closed at all times. The focus here is on the exhale. Don't worry about the inhale. You learn to give, the body will receive automatically. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. Hands in Vayu Mudra, same thing. Tips of your index finger touching the tips of your thumbs on both hands, palms rested, facing upwards. Taking a deep breath. I'm just going to demonstrate for you. Don't do it quite yet, and then we'll do 3 rounds together. Okay, that's what it's going to look like. The emphasis is on the thrust of air that is originating in my abdomen. So use the belly muscles to contract, to push out the air from the bottom of the lungs, from the thoracic region, all the way out. That comes out as a sharp burst. Okay? And the focus, like I said, is on the exhalation. The body knows how to receive. Okay? We're going to do 3 rounds. First round of 14, second round of 21, third round of 42. Okay? I'll give you little breaks in between each of them. Let's go ahead and take a deep breath in through the nostrils into the belly, filling the bottom of your abdomen. Make sure that the whole area is nice and soft and expanded. 3/4 of breath out. First round of 14 together. And take a break. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. 3/4 of breath out. Second round of 21 together. And take a break. Exhale. Inhale. 3/4 of breath out. And third and final round of 42 together. And we are done. Allow the breath to return to the normal cadence, 5 in and 5 out. This Kapalbhati, this last exercise, is tremendously powerful for the organs inside your abdomen. Not only are you getting rid of the toxins that might have built up in your lungs, but this is known to regulate your blood sugar levels. You're also tuning the muscles of your abdomen. You're also activating the digestive system for any blockages that may be there. Just allow your return to the normal breath of 5 in and 5 out. And just notice for yourself, how do you feel different in just 20 minutes of practice? This is breakfast for your lungs. You're allowing the prana, the life energy, to flow through you, through every nook and cranny of your body, through every cell, revitalizing, energizing, feeding, nourishing every single cell in the body. Now, with your eyes still closed, we're going to transition into the matters of the heart. This topic about remedying the epidemic of loneliness in our culture. The social distancing, quarantining, and lockdowns are all for your physical health. But what about your mental health? And the fundamental need for human connection. So in this next few minutes, I will share with you some simple ways to give yourself the support that's needed to ride the ups and downs of these unusual times. And if you're feeling depressed or anxious, it's not a malfunction, it's a signal. It's a signal that something needs to change in your life. And as we tend to pursue happiness, there's a lot of talk about being happy and happiness being the most important thing in life. One of the major challenges of happiness is loneliness. And sometimes our happiness is often a situation where we become self-centered. The more that you come to believe that loneliness is a common and important obstacle to consider, you can find that there are a number of different ways in which one can be led into feeling lonely. The fact is that to be happy, we need intimate bonds. But we're not taught that in our schools, in our university programs. We're not taught that we need to be able to confide. We need to be able to feel like we belong. We need to be able to get and give support. In fact, strong relationships are key, perhaps the key to a happy life. Now, I want you to note the difference. There is the difference between being lonely and being alone. Alone and lonely are not the same thing. Loneliness can feel draining, distracting, and upsetting. Whereas desire solitude or aloneness can feel peaceful, creative, and restorative. And there are several types of loneliness, and not everyone experiences loneliness in the same way. But once we have pinpointed the particular kind of loneliness that you're experiencing, it may be easier to spot ways to address it. I'm going to describe a few different types of loneliness, and while I do that, I want you to ask yourself, is this something that I have overlooked? The first is new situation loneliness. So you may have moved into a new city and you don't know anyone. You've just started a new job, or you just began to go to a new school with lots of unfamiliar faces, and you feel lonely. The second is I'm different kind of loneliness. You're in a place that's not unfamiliar, but you feel different from other people in an important way that makes you feel isolated. Maybe your faith is really important to you, and the people around you don't share that, or vice versa. Maybe everyone loves doing outdoor activities and you don't. It may feel hard to connect with others about the things that you find important. Or maybe you just sit with the loneliness that hits all of us sometimes, the loneliness that's part of the human condition. There's a third type of loneliness that's called the no sweetheart loneliness. Which is, even if you have lots of family and friends, you feel lonely because you don't have an intimate partner to be attached to. Or maybe you have a partner and you don't feel a deep connection to that person. And the fourth is no animal loneliness. Many people have a deep need to connect with animals. And if this describes you, you're sustained by these relationships in a way that human relationships don't replace. Your dog may make you feel like that, but many people feel like something important is missing if they don't have a cat or a dog or a horse in their life. And then there's a fifth kind. It's called no time for me loneliness. Sometimes you're surrounded by people who seem friendly enough, but they don't want to make the jump from friendly to friends. Maybe they're too busy with their own lives, or they have lots of friends already. So while you'd like to have a deeper connection, they don't seem interested. Or maybe your existing friends have entered a new phase that means they no longer have time for the things that all used to do. Everyone has started working very long hours or started a family, so your social scene has changed. The sixth kind of loneliness, untrustworthy friends loneliness. You're so-called friends with people, but then you don't quite trust them. An important element of friendship is the ability to confide and trust. So if that's missing, you may feel lonely, even if you have fun with your friends. And this is the seventh kind of loneliness, quiet presence loneliness. Sometimes you may feel lonely because you miss having someone else's quiet presence. You may have an active social circle at work or have plenty of friends and family, but you miss having someone to hang out with at home. Whether that would mean living with a roommate, a family member, or a sweetheart. Just someone who's fixing a cup of coffee in the next room or reading on the sofa. It's important to realize why you feel lonely, because only then can you see how you might address it. For instance, if you're no time for me lonely, maybe a solution would be to work on a project with other people. Now, whether that you'd be doing an endeavor together or something you've all made time for. It's easier to make friends when you're working on something fun, working on something useful. And if you're feeling lonely, that's making you anxious and depressed, you're not lazy, you're not broken, you're not malfunctioning, or it's not that you have been dealt a bad set of genetic cards. What it means is that you have unmet needs. And it is our responsibility as a society to help the individuals who are feeling that meet those needs. And research has shown that we are experiencing an epidemic of loneliness in our modern culture that's not only leading to sharp rise in unhappiness, depression, and anxiety across all ages, but is also leading an increased risk of health problems such as heart attack, stroke, cancer, and may even shorten a person's lifespan. So as a society, how can we respond? What are the solutions? Well, 1500 years ago, the Buddha said, the three jewels, the teacher, the teaching, and the community, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, are the three precious jewels. And in it, the teaching, the teacher can be found in the community. And taking refuge and placing your trust in a community or like-minded people who practice together is the key to a deep and transformative experience. Practicing meditation together is much more than community building. It is a wonderful opportunity to allow the collective energy of the Sangha to penetrate into our body and into our consciousness. And part of the benefit comes from the simple fact that it helps to create a new habit by inspiring us to show up to practice. By committing to a group, we become more accountable and less likely to quit. The Sangha, or the community, provides us a safe and comforting community in which to explore our own consciousness, explore this human experience. And you find a deep sense of community and support when you show up. Show up and sit and breathe together. And in my own experience, in some groups I'm a participant or a student, and in other groups I have the honor of teaching and leading the practice. In my experience, the power of group practice is profound, because we sit together and we learn from one another. We share with one another. In a Sangha, we can break down the feeling of isolation and separateness and see our similarities, understand our common struggles, and realize that we are not alone. We are not separate. And on social media, we want oftentimes to see the attractive, perfect side of ourselves. And we want to hide our imperfections. We're moving into this world unabated. And in a community like this, where we meditate together, we learn to embrace each other in an open-minded, non-judgmental way, as we recognize the truth that no one's life is perfect, despite how it may appear on social media. And we're all trying to figure this out. We're all doing the best that we can. We no longer have to fear being seen or judged. Instead, we learn to embrace and see all of ourselves and accept ourselves just as we are, so that we can live more authentically, fully, and lovingly. Similarly, we learn to open to others in a non-judgmental, open-hearted, and compassionate way, so that we can truly see each other just as we are. Imperfections and everything included. The problem is we know what's right, but we don't do it enough. It's become so popular that it becomes a cliche, yet we don't live by it. Why? We live in a machine that is designed to make us neglect what's most important in our lives. The result? A deep state of loneliness, depression, and anxiety. And your depression and your anxiety, remember, are not a malfunction. They're just a signal. Signal that something needs to change. In that moment when you realize that you are love, that you are love here and now. From that moment onwards, you realize, you feel all is well. Why? Because all problems in all worlds, including the big world out there and the little world of home and work, are no longer viewed as problems. Simply as a sign of temporary absence of love. stress is then seen for what it is in its simplest definition. The absence of love in our relationships. Stress arises within and between people who are temporarily lost. They've lost their awareness of the truth about love. Perhaps we need to remind ourselves to ask not where, when, and with whom I will find love, and instead, where, when, and with whom can I be love? In that moment, we lost our awareness of ourself as the vast, open, unlimited, unbounded, radiant energy. And we began to believe it just that small, decaying face, that funny shaped body that appears in perpetual decay before us in the mirror every day. That one belief alone draws a veil over our capacity to be consistently love and loving. And it replaces it instead with anxiety and fear. Ideas of beauty are transferred from spirit to form. And little do we realize that form has little beauty next to the radiance of your spirit, next to the natural radiance of your very being. Love can only be experienced when the idea mind, the thinking mind, is no longer the supreme factor. I want you to feel the feeling in presence. The feeling of presence is healing. Explanation is an escape from feeling in presence. Return to just being the love that you are. Now I want you to bring your palms together in prayer position at your heart center. And I want you to rub your palms against each other, kindling the chi or the prana, the life force. Nice, brisk rubbing of the palms, and you can feel a warmth. A nice ball of energy is generated here. And I want you to go ahead and then cup your eyes, one with each palm, and bless yourself. May clarity reign in my mind. May love reign in my heart. And health reign in my entire body. And then take your palms and make them face outwards, like you're an angel that blesses. And I want you to think of some person, people, or place that could use a blessing right now. And as if you're a conduit, like the moon reflects the rays of the sun, there's a supreme being, the supreme source of love and light above you, shining down its radiance, and you're just a mirror that reflects it towards this person, people, or place. And giving them the hope, the courage, and the strength to believe that they are love. I want you to now envision the entire planet, this beautiful ball of blue, white, and green, rotating ever so gently. And I want you to bless this entire planet, all species, including humans. May love reign in their hearts. May they feel safe. May they know all will be well. Bringing our palms back together in prayer position. Let's take a bow of gratitude for everyone and everything that made this moment possible. And I want you to notice for yourself how you feel right now. What has shifted in you since you came in here 53 minutes ago? And if you could describe how you feel in one word, what would that be? And I want you to go ahead and please share that one word in the comments. Tim says, okay, peaceful. Lisa, Rita says connected. Starlight says connected. Sieglinde is grateful, calm, peaceful, grateful, freed. Yawning, yes, that's important too. You're connecting with your body and noticing how it feels. Open and free, relaxed, nurtured, love. I just need hugs, says Tim. Thank you so much. All of your meditations are deep. Hema, thank you so much for the compliment. And those of you who joined after my initial orientation, I want you to know that this is episode 109 since the beginning of the pandemic. And all of my sessions are recorded and they are on the YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/jcharagam. you can go ahead and revisit them. There's a lot of exercises on different topics, literally 109 different topics. Breathwork, meditation, wisdom nuggets, storytelling, what have you. When you say that our joints should not be locked, do you mean that we shouldn't sit cross-legged? No, I think cross-legged is okay. It is when you keep your joints too stiff, actually is the opposite of cross-legged. Cross-legged is actually a good thing. But when you keep something so locked that it is straight and you're not allowing the flow of energy. So if you look at Tai Chi move practitioners, right, if you've ever seen them early in the morning, you'll see that there's always a bend in the limbs, whether it's their legs or their arms. They never go to a position where it's completely locked, right? There's always a slight angle there. So that's what I mean by not locking your limbs. I came in late, my first time with you, Jay. Welcome, Carolyn. This is very helpful. I'll be back. Yes. And I also ask that you please join my circle on this app. It's called Meditate with Jay. We have a thriving community of over 500 people and lots of discussions and suggestions for meditation in between my two sessions. I do it twice a week, Wednesday evenings now, 6 p.m. Pacific. Also Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific. And in between, you're welcome to go ahead and do those many recommendations that are made on my circle, Meditate with Jay. And I also want to mention to you today the emphasis, as you saw, the Buddha, Sangha, and the Dharma, and the importance of the Sangha in helping us to overcome this loneliness pandemic, the anxiety and the depression associated with it. On the request of you all, we started earlier this month something called the Sacred Circle. So we meet every Saturday morning. It's a small group of people, and we go deep, and we do breakout sessions, we do hands-on activities. And the point is that finding kindred spirit to help us as we're walking along, trying to navigate this uncharted territory, this journey that we are on of awakening. As we heard in this meditation, we could be amongst a lot of people and yet feel completely disconnected because what's important to us is not necessarily important to the people that we're married to or we're born to or we're working with, right? So the need for a Sangha or spiritual community is paramount for us to be able to make sense of all of this, to make sense of even the awakening experiences that we're having, all right? And so for that, getting together with a community of people who are also endeavoring to stay awake, to deepen their practice, to share authentically, to hold space for you, where you can be seen and heard and not judged, is an important thing. Thank you for sharing. Yes, the Sacred Circle has been really helpful. Thank you, Murita, for saying that if you can join November. So Stephanie, thank you for sharing that the Sacred Circle has been very helpful and it makes you feel so connected. Indeed. All right, so we've come to the top of the hour, my brothers and sisters. Hope you all can take away lessons from this and make this part of your regular practice. Don't just wait for me. The breathwork is something that is so important that if you can include that into your daily routine, I call it RPM, Rise, Speed, Meditate. So put that into your waking up sequence and you will see that you will have untold amount of energy, amount of time where you can focus on what is important to you. Make your priorities the center of your waking up routine. And you notice that your dreams and everything that you wish for will just manifest. Everything will follow when you put your priorities right. And that starts from taking time for yourself. So I thank you once again. And until I see you all again, whether it's a recorded session or a live, I wish you all stay strong, be happy, go shine your light, and be well.